Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I am the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ Film Festival. This is our 38th year presenting films from around the world. Our shorts programs are always extraordinary. I'm so happy. Queerly Hilarious Comedy Shorts is a program you cannot miss this year. I mean, we have six films in there that are all extraordinary. I cannot wait to share those with our audiences next week. And we have some filmmakers here as well. So why don't we have our filmmakers introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their films? We'll start with Ryan.
Perfect. Hey, I'm Ryan Parma. I am a director based in Los Angeles, and the film I have in out on film is The New Gardener. It's a comedy short along the lines of White Lotus, and basically it's just about a married couple that is exploring their open marriage phase, and they let someone in, and the comedy and chaos ensues, and it's a story basically about what we do for love and to be seen, and yeah, we just have a crazy fun old time. It's a young mysterious man posing as their new gardener at their house, and he has some things up his sleeve.
And Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter Darney. I'm the writer-director of Teth. I'm based in the UK. Teth is a comedy short based on something that really happened to the writer after his top surgery when he was changing his dressing. He thought one of his nipples fell off and the dog ate it. And that's the start of our crazy comedy in the Welsh language.
Thank
Oh
you
my
both for
God.
being part of this program. It's such a great program. But both of you, where are you right now in your festival run?
Say that again?
Where are both of you right now in your film festival run?
Ah, so we for at least for the new gardener, we're in I guess you would say the middle. We've been applying since the beginning of this year, and finally have started to hear back. So we're super excited to be, screening with you all out on film. We also have the film screening at the Cinema Diverse Palm Springs LGBTQ plus film festival. And then upcoming, we have it screening at the Portland Film Festival. And I think the last thing we have so far is an honorable mention at the Hollywood Short Fest. And then we still have some that we're waiting to hear back from. But I mean, I think we're just the entire team and I are just so excited and happy to even just have our film in festivals. We made it with a lot of love and out in Palm Springs when it was over 100 degrees, and so we're just so happy that people are enjoying it and having a good laugh.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably pretty much in the middle as well. We premiered at Iris Film Festival,
Fun.
and BFI Flair after that. Upcoming festivals we've got are we're also at Cinema Diverse Palm Springs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and then
Wait, what day are y'all screening?
oh gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
My
I'll
God,
let you
sorry, I didn't
know
mean to put you on the spot,
afterwards.
but that's so exciting.
Then we're off to Newport Beach. We've got a festival in Canada, Oslo and Belgium's queer film festivals, and Taiwan International Queer Film Festival, which is really cool.
Oh, so cool.
Great. Hello, Matthew. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. We were just getting started. If you want to just do a brief introduction, tell everybody about your film, and then we were talking about where everybody is right now in their festival run, in your film festival run. So if you just want to jump in, that'd be great.
Sure. Hi, I'm Matt Campanella, and my film is Sunday Sauce, and we are currently sort of in the beginning of our festival run. We just premiered at Holly Shorts last month, about a month ago. So, yeah, that's where we are.
Very
Great.
cool.
For for all of you, I mean, can you talk about all of your films are so character based. Can you talk about how you're able to achieve such nuanced characters, rich characters in a fairly compressed amount of time? The challenge that presents. We'll do the same order. Ryan, Peter, Matthew. Matt.
Okay, perfect. Sure. I think one of the things that has to be in place before finding the nuance in the characters is the script. Um, which I know sounds super cliche, but I think one of the biggest things that drew me to this short film was the script. The writer-producer Harrison Pierce really had these characters down. When you read it, you felt like you were meeting someone you've met in real life. And for me, I think what I sent to the actors like before we started shooting was basically my own interpretation of what I feel like the characters are and sort of their go-tos, and then let them breathe life into it.
Hmm.
And I think for me, especially with the kind of absurdity that is our film, where they're letting some man pose as the new gardener who clearly is not the new gardener, but because they're kind of playing this game against each other of like who can we bring into the marriage, like to spice things up. I was like, it all has to feel real. And I will say what was really fun to play with is Larry, who is played by Guy Branum. He comes like his character backdrop was he was a Broadway theater actor that turned, Hollywood sitcom co-star. And so his life has been lived in the spotlight, and his life is a stage.
Hmm.
So like he's allowed to be this sort of over dramatic character where his husband, who's played by Johnny Sibilly, was basically a Broadway dancer turned house husband, and who is just sort of bored and trying to figure out like what do we do? How do we keep things going and moving? And so what was really fun to play with is when I had such a big character like Larry, I wanted Leo to kind of be his opposite, where it's like Leo loves him and wants to be there for him, but Larry is kind of like the one who's bringing all the drama, you know?
Okay, great. Peter?
Um, I think like Ryan says, it starts with the script. Um, Obviously casting's really important, and there were quite the role of the vicar, for example, in our film was sort of shaped because I wanted to you work with that actor who I already knew. And I thought that that would actually sort of impact on the sort of David and Goliath moment that we wanted to try and create with the script. Um, and then I think, I mean, I come from, I was originally a theatre director, so I'm very, the bit that I'm most comfortable with actually is like working with actors, talking about your stake, action, objective, or whatever it might be. Um, and so I'm still getting used to actually like turning up and doing it all on the day rather than having like 3, 4, 5 weeks in a room with people before anyone sees anything that you're going to do.
Right.
Um, but I always try and like sneak a little rehearsal in, or at least like if you can't have a rehearsal, have like, even if it's just a phone call before you um, get to the set, because it is so important to be able to sort of discuss um, everything that you possibly can to help an actor prepare in a way that's going to make what they bring you on the day chime with your vision of the project. And actors are so wonderful because if you give them the information, they can turn that into something incredible and far better than you would ever imagine on your own. So for me, I think those are the main things that I do to sort of try and make sure that your actors are bringing these characters to life in the most sort of authentic and believable way.
Great.
100%.
And Matt?
Yeah, so I think the question was like, what kind of inspired you with the characters,
Well,
sort
just
of?
how you're able to create such rich characters in a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah, I will say it was kind of challenging because there was so much stuff in this film specifically that we were trying to throw in. It's a proof of concept for a feature. So, and I think the characters were so key because it has an ensemble cast and a lot of it was driven on the dialogue in the film.
Mm.
And so I would say, in terms of how to craft the rich characters, I mean, I did write it, but it's very inspired by my upbringing. I come from a really big Italian crazy family. I'm like one of four siblings. So there was like a lot of inspirations that I took from characters in my own life. And Yeah, it was, I mean, the characters, I think for me as a writer, I always come from a character standpoint. And I try to think about, you know, I always start with the character, not exactly the concept of the story. So from there, just getting the actors on board who were just so open to what I was throwing at them was really, really amazing. And I'm really grateful.
With all due respect to all the ensembles in each of your films, I mean, and the ensembles are flawless. I have to ask Matt about what my favorite actress is, Cathy Moriarty. I mean, it's like, I mean, how did you get her? I mean, what was that experience like working with Cathy Moriarty?
Wow. Well, Kathy is like, I mean, she's a veteran. She's a legend. She uh has so much experience and she has such an incredible presence
Yeah,
already that she was already at the top of our list. Like, between me, my producer, who was also my brother, and my casting director, Joey Montanarello, we all felt very assured that Kathy would be such a great part to just glue the ensemble together
yeah,
and anchor it. And, I'm really grateful that she resonated with the script
yeah,
because this film as well, with that sort of staccato dialogue and within the Italian culture of, talking over each other, there's a lot of room and moments for improv and beautiful improv moments and funny improv moments. And, she definitely is incredible at improv. So that I was just, it was an incredible experience, I would say. She's a pro.
great. For all of you, again, same order.
Sure.
Can you talk about the importance of having queer themes in your work, especially at such a uncertain time as we're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I love that question. And I think it's something that's been really exciting for me. I think just in my own journey with my identity too, that as of the past few years, I have felt more to direct, whether I'm just directing or if I'm writing and directing stories that have my type of representation, be it gay, whatever, on the LGBTQIA plus spectrum because of what's going on. And also one of the things for me, because of the type of person I am, I I have seen a lot, and I love the queer films that have come out in the past, but I feel like they have been a lot of dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I am intrinsically a happy, positive person. And I think I have been very focused on how do I tell stories that show queer joy, because it's something that I feel like I didn't get to see a lot when I was younger.
Exactly.
And so I want to make people smile and laugh. And, having a queer character on screen that's giving you a laugh and not necessarily, again, dramas are important. I'm not saying they're not important. But I think just from my past experience, it's been very much focused on, okay, how do I get a queer character? How do I get to tell a story of a queer character that is either the lead or part of the ensemble and their identity is just, again, one thing of their own personality, but like we're leading with a positive comedic light. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, great. Peter.
Um, so I think sort of as I sort of came out slightly later than most people, and I started like it just felt like at a time when I was exploring myself to really throw myself into issues and actually like you can you sort of like working through the things that you're working out through for yourself sometimes through your work, and that's certainly something that I've done. And that's been really helpful and healthy. And I would say like I love to do a mix of things, and like I've made a lot of traumatic work and serious work. But I think you're always looking for the light and shade. But I think what's particularly like at the moment, I'm really drawn to writing comedy dramas, and working on those as a director. And I think, there's just for me, there's nothing like the opportunity of sneaking in a teaching moment through laughter.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
There's nothing quite like it for educating people. Because whenever you're educating people, you want to try and do it in a way that they've got no idea that they've been educated, or challenged to think about something different, or coming to see something that they would never normally see. But actually, if it's got comedy attached to it, they're much more open to it. So I think that like sneaking in through comedy is a really good way of like, trying to further that battle of like changing hearts and minds and making people more aware of other people's situations and just reaching further than your own echo chamber with that. So I think, that's certainly at the moment, like I'm very focused on doing that in a lighter and more comic way.
And Matt,
Love it. So much of what you said, Peter, resonates with me as well. Like, I want to say also first, I think I want to thank you guys out for just providing a space to celebrate the stories because I think that only encourages more to be shown.
Mhm.
And I think to speak on my experience working on it, I mean, you guys also had my last film, Daddy Issues, in 2023. So that's just another example of just encouraging work, something that was a little bit different than this piece. But I would say the through line for my work is, of course, the authenticity behind it, but also just kind of what Peter was referring to, even within traumatic and struggling pieces. This piece is the character struggling with his sexuality and like repression, but finding the light and finding the teachable moments throughout, I think are really important because I think there's an argument to both sides of it that, we shouldn't really have certain stories that struggle and we should focus on the positive, which I totally agree with. And I love creating uplifting stories as well and finding that light. But there's also people who are in situations that the character was in the film. So, and I know that because I've met some of the people. So it's it's always a really interesting challenge when you want to subvert audience expectations. And that's always very challenging. But my goal with this piece and making the feature, hopefully, is bringing people on a journey where they think they're going in one end and then they actually come out, like Peter was referring to, learning something and hopefully having some sort of shifted perspective, both people in the community and outside of the community. So I always try to create, even within the queer films, themes and elements that are relatable so that other people feel that they can, resonate. Because at the end of the day, queer people are just people too.
Yeah, 100%.
well said. One more quick question. What's next for all three of you?
Ooh, great question. I think I would say, well, what's next for me, at least personally, project wise, that I'm really excited about is I am currently writing a movie musical feature that is about my experience in anti-gay therapy. And again, coming from a different perspective, again, it's just who I am as a director, is coming from kind of like a dark comedy perspective. And I am very, very excited about it. It's been one of those things that has been percolating ever since I stopped anti-gay therapy. And it is finally, I think, started to make its formulation in my mind with the story and the characters. And I direct a lot of music videos, so I work with a lot of musicians and songwriters. So I have like the perfect team that is writing the music and the lyrics. I and then I work with a lot of choreographers and dancers. So it's sort of like all my worlds starting to come together right when, to me, the story is starting to come together, which is super exciting. So that is next on the personal film project land. And then outside of that, I have some exciting a cappella music videos I am directing coming up in October.
I have just finished writing a feature film, a romantic comedy called The Only Gay Porn Star in Upper Cymturch, which is based on the true story of how I lost my virginity to an American porn star in a small Welsh village one Christmas.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I have to hear this story. I
Yeah, I mean, now it's like, yeah, you can't just like.
have to offline us with this. Sorry.
uh, he was the half brother of somebody that worked in the village as a carer, and he'd been in London and had nowhere to go for Christmas. And we met on Christmas Eve, and I had a very interesting Boxing Day.
Can't wait to see
Wow.
more of this. Thanks so much.
And I thought that because we'd slept together, that meant he was my boyfriend, which was a very early learning point that he was able to give to me that he wasn't. And I've just finished writing a play which is going into R&D in Swansea next month. Which is really exciting because it's in the theatre that I first ever went to when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And like to now be in there with like a full length play is like this really exciting coming home full circle moment for me. So
Great.
I'm doing that next.
And Matt,
Wow, that's honestly, these projects sound so interesting. I want to learn more. Yeah, I mean, we this is a proof of concept for a feature, so
Yeah.
my a lot of my energy has been focusing on that, and we have the script and the creative materials and stuff. But I am going to the Bend Film Base Camp. I was accepted into this like film. It's kind of this like film incubator weekend
Hmm.
in 2 weeks. So I'm in New York right now, but I'm going to go to Oregon for that. And besides Sunday Sauce, I just finished writing this new feature, which I love, called In Good Standing. And it's sort of inspired by, it's like this sort of sarcastic comedy, but also very, leans into drama, sort of up in the air-esque with George Clooney. And it sort of taps into my experience as an education consultant and tutor, which is what I do outside of film. And
Cool.
students who have different learning disabilities and how they work through them, and the idea of not necessarily needing to fix people but more so embrace who they are, which I'm excited about.
great. Congratulations, all of you. Thank you again for sharing your films with us. Um, Clearly Hilarious Comedy Shorts screen Saturday, September 27th at 2 o'clock at the Midtown Arts Cinema, and has a brief streaming window. Three of the films you can see as part of this great program are Sunday Sauce, Ted, and The New Gardener. I think you'll enjoy all of those. Thank you all again for talking to us.
Well,
Hopefully,
thank you for having us.
future. Thank you all
Thank
so much.
you.
Take care.